All right, FightHype.com here with the legendary Hall of Famer Al Bernstein, one of the greatest that ever did it. Al, what's Broner's best path to actually winning the fight?
Well, I think he's going to have to be active. You know, sometimes he's not active, although amazingly, a stat that really surprised me, in his last 5 fights, he's thrown more punches per round than Pacquiao has, which was shocking to me in Pacquiao's last 5. So I think he's going to have to continue that. He's going to have to land counter punches, land a significant counter punch when Pacquiao's coming forward, and then make sure that he sustains his effort throughout the fight. That's obviously the issue with Broner.
You mentioned the counter punching, but wouldn't you agree Broner was at his best walking guys down?
Yeah, well,
but that was in the lower weights.
Yeah, in the lower weight classes where he was powerful, and at 135 he hit harder than just about anybody. But he could throw a monkey wrench into it because Manny Pacquiao doesn't like to go backwards by doing that. But you just know Pacquiao's going to pull forward. So even if he's going to walk him down, he's going to have to start by counterpunching well.
Is Broner really a counterpuncher though?
Yeah, well, remember he landed the left hand. Here's what happens. If you throw volume punches against Adrien Broner, he goes into a shell. But if you throw single punches or while you're attacking, he can hit you with a counter punch. He has to get you before you've started punching. Once you start punching, he goes into he's always defense or offense. But when you're coming in, he can throw a counter punch.
What kind of Manny Pacquiao do we really have at this stage against Horn? People were starting to say, okay, the age is really showing, but then Matisse, he looked like the old man.
One really bad performance, because the Horn fight wasn't a good fight, even though he probably did win it, even though he didn't get the decision. He fought well against Vargas. He fought well against Matisse, but we don't know how much of that was Matisse not performing well. So we have one sample size of him doing badly. If there was 2, I would say, age is really, of course he's not the same fighter he was 5 years ago, but other than the Mayweather fight where there was an injury involvement with Floyd Mayweather, he's been pretty consistent in his performances. So, yes, 40 years old is old for a fighter, but we don't have a sample size to tell us he's totally on the decline. And he feels like, he's got at least 1 or 2 good more efforts left in him.
Now, I know you never make a prediction, but how sizable of an underdog is Broner in Saturday night?
Yeah, my opinion, this feels a little bit like and I'm not good at odds, but a little higher than, it's not a 50-50 fight, maybe it's a 2-1 fight for Pacquiao, something like that.
And lastly, Al, how great is Pacquiao? Just to take him in for a minute here, is he one of the greatest fighters of all time?
Yeah,
top
he's in
10
the top,
to 15?
Yeah, he's in the top 15, because, for if no other reason, for what he did in the lower weights. He's had 2 distinct careers. He was a Hall of Famer after he got done with all his fights with Marquez, Guerrero, and Morales. Of those 4 guys, he has the best record in the intra-fights. Now, you can make a case of decisions should have gone one way or the other, but that alone made Manny Pacquiao a Hall of Famer and a legend. And then for him to have, compounded those excellent performances with all the good work he did at higher weights, it's pretty special.
Absolutely, Ali. Kind of like Floyd. He was a Hall of Famer probably by the time he was at 147 already.
Probably, yeah. And then he added to the legacy of it, And when I think of Pacquiao, when I try to place him in all-time placing, I think of him in those lower weight classes and say, how would he fare against other lower weight fighters of all time? And clearly he would do great.
Thanks, Al.
All right.
Thanks.